Alright, welcome to GTA. Let me steal your car. Hello, what's up? How you doing? Now, if you're a person like me, or if you watch my channel, you probably have a lot of things that do not have matching things. I'm referring to corsets that you've made, yes. Um, I have quite a few, things of scrap fabrics like this Among Us one, and if you are going to school and have made plenty of corsets for school, as have I done, whatever grammar that was, I am going to make some hair ties because you always have to have everything matching and you have extra. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to make, well, I don't really know if I can teach you, but I'm just gonna show you how to do it. We're gonna make some scrunchies to match the corset. By the way, fit check. Look at this. The corset looks fire. This is the new one that I made. If you joined any of my lives, you've probably seen it, or some of my shorts. But yeah, it's Among Us. I found it at Joann's. Anyway, now let's make these matching scrunchies. Okay, so first you're gonna need some fabric, some scrap fabric, and it's gonna be about as big as, I don't know, I'm guessing one of those big fat Grimm's fairy tales books. Then I got my seam ripper just in case, and you need some small elastic as well. It can be a bigger elastic, but you might have to make the scrunchie a little bit bigger, or you could just cut the big elastic in half. But yeah, and then I think that's about all you need. You might need either a sewing machine or some thread and a needle if you want to hand sew it, which you honestly could do, but I used my sewing machine because it was really quick and easy. But if you don't have a sewing machine, you can definitely do that with just normal sewing, like hand and needle, but make sure you go over it a few more times. So what I'm doing right now, I had 2 pieces of fab scrabric? Fat, no, not, not, fab, no, scrap fabric. And I had 2 pieces of scrap fabric and they kind of look like that. I decided to sew them together so I can make a long line, which is what you're gonna need if you want, nice scrunchies, I guess, because that's what we're making right now. So I just got 2 kind of tubes of fabric, and I wanted to connect them together so then they could be like, nice and long. And then I cut them in half so then I could have 2 tubes, and then sew them together. I'm not sure why I had so much trouble. Oh my gosh, I cannot speak. I don't know why I had so much trouble trying to figure out how these these 2 tubes should have been cut. But the trial and error, we made it. So anyway, I just want 2, long strips of fabric. I want them to be able to have maybe an inch when they're both folded together. Now, I'm just gonna say you don't need 2 tubes. You only need about 1 tube that's I don't know, your forearm's length. Um, I'd say I don't have correct measurements, but they can all turn out different. If you want more scrunch to it, then you can make the tube longer, and if you want it to be a little bit more straight and flowy, you can make it a little bit shorter, but don't make it too short. I'd say about a forearm's length or longer would be about good. But yeah. Then I want you to put both of the fabrics, unattractive side out, or the pretty side that you want on the outside, on the inside, and I want you to sew them together. Um, so then you have a nice tube, but don't sew the backs, and by that I mean the openings of the tubes. Don't sew those yet. After I did that, I started, cutting off the ends and a little bit of the ugly, unattractive parts that are probably going to be hidden, but it's just made me to feel a little bit more on center. Then we're going to pull out the elastics. The elastics, what I want you to do is I want you to cut out about a finger's length, like maybe your pointer finger. Your middle finger, I mean, how big you want it really depends, like how big you want it to stretch. I did about like my pointer finger's length, which is like long but not that long. About like a hair tie's width. It is gonna stretch and it. Now I grabbed the elastic in the shot. I don't know why, but what you're gonna do right now is you're gonna take your safety pins and you are going to flip those two tubes inside out, so then you can see the good or quote unquote attractive side. So that's what I did. I just took the safety pin, put it on the edge, threaded it through, and then flipped it inside out. Now, what I did so it was easier to, get the elastic on the other side was I put a little safety pin and I pinned it on the back of the elastic, the one that was going to go through. And then, as you can see in the video, I put the one side of the elastic with the safety pin on the inside, and then I kept one little part out so that I could sew it on, flat, so then that one part of elastic would stay on one side, and then I could just, take the one with the safety pin all the way through it. After I threaded the elastic through, I held it with the safety pin on the outside. I didn't leave the safety pin. Well, I didn't take out the safety pin just because it would have a better grip if I didn't take it off, or it would have a better grip. Yeah, that's what I said. Anyway, after I did that, I sewed it together, and then I sewed the two ends together, and I sewed them a few times just to give it a little bit like easier and more secure, because apparently if you're in school you are whipping around your head back and forth, so it will fall apart. But yeah, I put it together and then I flipped it inside out so it could just be nice and cute. And if you have like the scrunchie, make sure it is like scrunched. Make sure there's a lot of fabric so then you can like stretch it out and stuff like that. But that's about it. Well, now I finally have a hair tie that matches the corset. It's also an easy way to get rid of extra fabrics.